Ayy, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit and miss. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis.
It's your boy Melly Mac.
40 Keys. I'm glad to see you guys here today.
I'm glad to see both of y'all here today too.
After that win yesterday and that ice, they had me look like Chris Brown out there.
Say what now?
I was sliding, boy.
At the port?
No. At my house.
I had a little hee in the driveway this morning too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah.
snap.
Trying to get to the car. All the
you still remember you got those ligaments in there and stuff. You still together. Okay.
Yeah. I still held it together. My hamstrings are still intact.
To you. That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
How you doing, bro?
Cooling.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
You ain't had no ice issues, man?
Nah, I don't have ice issues.
He only 39. He ain't there
Yeah,
yet.
wait till you get to 40.
Next year.
Yeah.
Or this year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah, them ligaments going to be in trouble when you hit that 4
He would look like Gumby out there. Like straight Gumby in it.
Right. So we need to address this really quick before we get started. Roy says, what's the over-under for technical glitches in this episode?
I was going to say, this show is brought to you by Aramis, Melly Mac, 40 Keys, and Cord. Everywhere you want to be. Cord.
So here's the update on that. I just had my guy Rich in here, and we talked over how to set this whole thing up and get it going from the desktop and all that. So the permanent fix is in the works. So y'all stay tuned for that. But listen, one of the most important things right now going is my man Sweat. The first, if I'm not mistaken, the first that I've seen, the first new member part of the immediate family.
You better pray.
That is the name of the membership program, and Sweat is in there.
You better pray that he's the first. Because if somebody else hears that and they paid, they whop.
It happened again. Technical difficulties. It just happened again. Different cord, different everything. It just happened again.
I told y'all, the show is brought to you by Cord.
Yeah, it happened again. There it is. I don't understand it. Okay. All right. So, I don't know. We're going to have to run it from here. We're going to have to try and run it from here. All right. Can one of you guys pull up the comments? Because I think it might have something to do with me trying to monitor it here under the same account. That might have something to do with it. All right.
I'm pulling it right now.
And you know what I could do? I can go on YouTube. Yeah, because he was right. He was, hey, watch how many issues they have today. Right. That was wrong, man. You didn't have to do it like that.
If they can hear us, I'm telling you, we can do a text message episode.
It's these extremely long text messages.
Oh man, I can go anywhere.
Dissertations about what we saw in the NFL.
Absolutely. It turns into SMS to MMS and all this nonsense.
Yeah. All right. So look, I mean, obviously today's show, we have to have the conversation about the MVP. You want to start with the question? All right. We got producer Q's in the house, y'all. This is regarding MVP? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's start off with that because it seems like this is going to be a very heated discussion, and I mean, we'll deal with it as it comes. So we just cut out again.
I'm mellow.
I switched out of it and we just cut out again. This is unbelievable. Yeah. Nope. Now, okay. There we go. Okay.
Just keep doing that at the ready.
You're right. That's what you're gonna have to do. All right. So what's the question?
So my thing is, you guys know that Josh Allen just got MVP, right?
Yep.
Sure.
Now, I have TikTok, right? And
A little bit louder.
You got TikTok?
Well, because somebody took our other microphone. We don't know what happened to it. So
I have TikTok on my phone, and then a lot of people on live is talking about this about the conversation about the MVP matter.
Okay.
Now they believe that Lamar Jackson got snubbed.
Okay.
And
Do you feel that way?
Huh?
Do you feel like Lamar Jackson got snubbed?
No,
Okay.
because
You almost got fired.
So switch it up.
Switch what up? Oh, just cut out again?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's delayed on.
I'm looking over there. So I'm like, switch it out. Let's go.
So it doesn't have anything to do then with me signing into StreamYard.
So my thing is that why do all Baltimore fans think that Lamar got snubbed? And my thing is to one of you guys, whoever can answer this question, like, why do you feel like Baltimore fans feel like Lamar got snubbed?
The same reason
Exactly. The same reason why we thought last year.
Josh
that
was
Josh
snubbed
got
last year. It's a continuous cycle, and I think I'm gonna hold off on that. It's a good segue into the conversation, because I'm gonna let Brother Aramis, Brother Mill take this conversation away.
What you think, bro?
Yeah, so I felt the exact same way the Baltimore Ravens felt last year. As I came on here with all my research, all my data, everything that I brought in there, and basically, if you want to go by stats, last year Josh Allen should have won the MVP based off of stats. However, they gave it to Lamar. This year, same thing. Lamar had better stats, but the same criteria that won it for Lamar Jackson last year is the same criteria why Josh Allen won it this year. So if you want to be fair, Josh should have won last year and Lamar should have won this year. But guess what? They both got one back to back. So to me, it's a wash. It's an even wash.
Which is okay.
Your quarterback got two. We got one. Like it is what it is.
Yeah. I go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny to me because last year, who was the number one overall team? And was it Kansas City or Baltimore last year? Baltimore last year, number one overall. Who was the number one overall team this year?
KC.
Where the hell was Mahomes?
Nowhere to be found in that conversation.
Exactly.
So you see the numbers?
Who cares about what you just said? Who cares about numbers? The same criteria as last year. I mean, his numbers weren't good, but at the same time, they're the number one team. So even still, by trying to right the wrong, not saying, I'm not saying Josh deserves or doesn't deserve Lamar snub, not snub. It's just imperfect. That's why I said let you guys go, because I taught, when he got it last night, my mom texted me, I said, that's cute, and I kept on about my work because I want that trophy. I want the one they're playing for on Sunday. Damn, yesterday, I want Sunday.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's part of the reason why I titled this episode, MV3 was never going to happen. I think the biggest part of this entire conversation is the credibility of the people making the votes, right? You can't, in all good conscience, take last year's MVP and the criteria that you used to give Lamar Jackson the MVP and then turn around this season and just completely reverse your train of thought. There was no way that anybody with a vote would be able to justify themselves as a voter after that point. And sadly, the conversation has now to some degree become political in a sense, if you get where I'm going with this. You got people now looking at this as, do these voters have an agenda, right? And I don't think that's the case. I really think it boils down to, most of the time these voters are I don't want to say they're left to vote, they're left to their own devices to place a vote, but I don't think enough of them seek out the guidance on the interpretation of MVP. And I think that's where we get into trouble. Mm-hmm. These voters are allowed to take into their own, they're allowed to include their own context into the MVP conversation. Well, I think valuable means best performer. Well, excuse me, I think most valuable means, did the most for their team, which would preclude Lamar Jackson from the conversation because he, in terms of biggest impact on his team, he didn't need to do much in games, right? So I think that is where this all kind of lands as far as what the root of the issue is in this conversation. Is the voters had to vote this way, or they risked being called out on it and not being able to justify it. So that's hopefully, and I did hear a couple of voters say this. Acho said this. Diana Rossini was on Colin Cowherd today. She talked about her consulting other players, and Acho consulted the guy who is in charge of the voting process and all that. For the interpretation of MVP. What's the criteria? You know what I'm saying? So I think as long as we have people speaking out on that mindset and that willingness to go outside of themselves and really seek out what the solution and answer is, we'll end up with the correct answer at the end of the season. And I think for what we've seen in the entire NFL this season, for what we know the MVP to be, which is a quarterback award, this was the right answer. I don't think there's any way to deny that. So
I got two questions unrelated
okay.
to this conversation. What does the little blue star thingy mean next to your name in the chat?
So I might need to apologize because I didn't get a notification that Laura is a member as well. Congrats to Laura being a part of the immediate family. Thank you very much for that. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to all the benefits and stuff like that. I know for sure. I know for sure. I'm pretty sure I remember all the perks that I put in there, and one of them is members get to schedule a segment if they wanted to come on the show live, hang out with us. So I look forward to having you guys on. There's a few other perks in there, discount on merch and good stuff like that. One of the ones that I know my tech guy Rich is going to take advantage of. He's going to challenge us to some Madden. So I mean,
I'd rather play college football, but whatever.
Yeah, well, I did say that too. I added that in, so it's either Madden or CFB.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. So
my second question: what is our catch line?
All truth, no sodium.
What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Salt. It says salt right there.
To be fair, we got pepper in the house too. Push it real good. Yeah, man, I got some salt shakers in the house. I'm always trying to add decorations and stuff, make this joint look a little homely. So,
did you guys watch the NFL honors?
I was asleep.
So
at work.
I like watching it because to me, like, we know all our favorite football players, but we see them in the uniform, we see them play. But this time you see them outside the uniform. You see them with their style, with their personality, and it's just I love seeing it. Christina was watching it, basically looking at the outfits and seeing what people wore and stuff like that. But, Key, I got to tell you, man.
What up?
Jameis Winston is a national treasure, man.
Do you see what the stuff I'm sending you? I know, AB.
God.
Did you see the ones I send you?
Bro. bro. So
He's better off the field than he is on the
So
field.
I'll
take it.
I saw all the ones you sent me, plus him being there, bro. He's
hilarious.
Listen, when he retired, he needs to be on TV.
Yeah, he does.
He has to be.
Yeah, I agree
He
with
has to be. That dude is talented.
Yep.
There's a lot of people, personality wise, that I just like. I like, man. Like outside of football, like Deion Sanders. I love Deion's personality. I love his swag. I love everything. You know what I'm saying? They interview him and his son Shador Sanders. Love his interview. Love his vibe. All that. My man Bill Belichick.
He's funny.
Came in there stunting.
He's funny.
He brought his rings with
Bro,
him.
he was like,
Yeah, he's
I'm
funny.
like, Bill.
He's funny.
You 70 years old. What you doing? He had
don't
them
matter.
all.
It don't matter.
He was
Yeah,
like,
he's-
hey, I got to shine too.
Yep.
I got to shine too. So he came in with all his rings. Another dude that I love, but he wasn't there, was my man Randy Moss. You know what I'm saying? Big ups to him. He still looked good, though. I know he battling cancer, but he still looked good, man.
He beat it. Well, he beat it the first time. He's in remission.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Nate Robinson finally got the donor for his kidney.
Oh, for real?
Finally.
Nice.
Oh, I didn't know he was
Yeah.
in a bad
Oh,
spot
he was in
like
bad
that.
shape.
Wow.
Yeah. So he finally got that today. I saw. So
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
'Cause he was ready to be out of here. He said, "It's over."
So I guess this would be directed to you, Mac. Bills Mafia North says, "What the hell was Joe Burrow wearing?"
Yo, I gotta give Burrow a little bit of credit. Now the joint was kind of weird, but he was comfortable because it was like one of those things where kind of like a lounge wear. It was hot though. It was hot. I
Like
mean,
a blazer made out of like cotton sweat hoodie material.
it probably something like Kanye would probably wear.
Oh,
Like it wasn't flashy at all.
So it was see-through.
It was all black. No, it was all black, but like it could.
like Kanye be wearing like designer trash bags and stuff. Like it was
looked
some
like
weird stuff.
like a mix between like a bathrobe and like a suit jacket. Like it was just like he was comfortable. I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna hate. I like it, but I'm telling you what, that boy is invited to the cookout. I'll tell you that.
Who's that?
Joe Burrow
Brady?
Max? Yeah.
Why?
Burrow
Because he got the John B haircut and he wear a gold chain.
He got a little bit of swag, man.
Oh, yeah,
he
Joe
definitely
Cool?
got.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He definitely got swag. Snoop Dogg was trying to talk about him because you know he had bought the Batmobile.
Snoop Dogg.
No, Joe Burrow.
Oh, he did?
So the
1990s joint?
no, the Tumbler.
Oh, for real?
He bought the Tumbler, right? $2.9 million. He bought the Tumbler. So Snoop was talking about him. He was like, "Man, that's a nice thing. It come with spikes, grappling hooks. You got everything in there." He said, "I guess you actually wanted something that have."
Just practical.
that had good defense. Yo, so he was smiling. Soon as he said that comment, immediately it went off. Like he didn't find that funny at all. He didn't find that funny at all.
What'd he say?
He didn't say nothing. Like he was laughing at first. He was talking about the Batmobile, and then when he said, he was like he was he was hot.
I know you ain't just trying to play me on national TV.
Yeah, he was hot. But
yeah.
Snoop was pretty good. He was pretty good, man. He had people going, people laughing. He talked about Josh. He was like, man, Josh. Like, man, dang, homie. Like, it's bad enough you got to play against Mahomes. You got to play against the refs too. Like,
You got to change the voice when you do it. Dang, homie. Bow wow.
Laura said Joe Burrow looks smoked out. I think Snoop Dogg shared some smoke with
Hey,
him.
listen.
He just smoked out Macaulay Culkin.
You know who else shared some smoke with him?
Who?
Justin Jefferson. I don't know if y'all saw it when he came out. Yo, he had people rolling. He came out, right? And he was saying this spill, whatever, because he was about to introduce Randy Moss. Basically, because Randy Moss gave out one of the awards. He did it from home, though, because obviously he couldn't make it there. So they still all these Randy Moss clips. Then he come out, and he started talking, and then he like, oh, what happened to the prompter? The prompter went out, and he froze. So he had to do it all again. Like, he went verbatim, word for word again. He was just sitting there just laughing. I'm like, yo, what is this dude doing? I'm like, yeah, he was puffing on something.
Wow.
He was killing it with Snoop in the backstage, man.
Oh man, when you get to see the real side of these players like that, it's always jarring. You know what I mean? Because it's like these are the. It's like. I don't know. I mean, I don't need to give it a metaphor or anything like that. I think every one of us has met a football player and been kind of like not exactly how I imagine the player being, but I'll take I'll take having met him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's just weird. It's weird. You know, like these are real people with real thoughts and ideas and feelings and stuff like that. Outside of the helmet, outside of you thinking thinking about how they can help your team win and all that kind of stuff, And to me, I think what this all makes me think about is, at the end of the day, do we think Jefferson is going to get fined for coming on TV high?
No.
Not at all, right? But if he was to do that during the season,
Yeah.
and now, mind you, like we're talking about him being high on national TV,
Right.
So if he was to go on somebody's podcast high, would he get fined for that? No. Probably not, right? So what I think this creates, and it becomes an interesting question: how far should the idea of detriment to the team become? Or how far should that go?
I think the CBA covers, if I'm not mistaken, they put that in there for players. They can, like basketball. You can literally be on YouTube smoking live till your lungs fall out, and they can't do nothing to you.
Yeah.
Like they can't find you, they can't suspend, can't do nothing. As long as it's not within the training camp or the new season league year or whatever. How far should you go? Anything that's questionable legality. If you're doing blow, if you see somebody sniffing the tail, like, woo, no, that's not cool. You can't do that.
So what about drag racing?
Is it legal?
Well, it depends on where you do it.
What's what I'm saying? If it's legal, if it's sanctioned, yeah, it's fine. But if it's that's different. If you're talking about a contract that states like Naeem Hines, where it says you can't do this kind of stuff because obviously, then yeah, that's one thing. But just because you're drag racing, if it's sanctioned and it's legal, I don't care. Not Marcel Darius. You don't count.
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about, because I'm just thinking about we have a locker room full of guys that, to the fullest of our knowledge right now, are all good old boys, in a sense, right? From everything that they've shown us, they all, goody two shoes, right? We don't hear about them having any. Right,
I know a couple.
Right, exactly. Right. Well, right, but okay, perfect, because you're proving my point, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I really do think that we may have gotten a little too carried away with the culture, and what the culture is capable of doing in terms of translating to wins, right? Because when we think of those guys that we're trying to keep out of the locker room, when we think of the Marcel Dariuses, and we think of the Cam Newtons, and we think of all these guys that aren't culture guys, we think of not just a negative effect on the locker room, but we think about them becoming an issue outside of the locker room too. Even though, to be clear, Stephon Diggs never spoke out publicly against the Bills until he left, right?
And he still halfway did it.
Right. So I'm saying all this to say, it does bring an interesting question to the table when it comes to, like, what are we really getting at when we're talking about culture? Because all these players smoke in private. All these players do something in private that we would look at and be like, oh, I don't want my children knowing they do that.
But I think it's more like you got to. So look at it from this perspective. Who did they get to host the award show?
Who was it?
Snoop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like what you do on your privacy or your own home, or you do at the crib, that's cool. Just don't bring it to work.
But see, Snoop got Martha Stewart smoking, so it's cool at that point.
Right. Everybody
cool
just accepts it.
Bro, it's the same thing with where I work at. Like, they can get hammered when they're not working, but 8 hours before you go to work, you got to make sure it's out of your system.
Yeah, but for a player, like, think about Laramie Tunsil. His draft stock plummeted because somebody leaked a video of him with the smoke mask on. You know what I'm saying? That was something he did in the privacy of a home, but it was used against him in a sense.
Well, at that time, look at Josh though. Josh got caught. What was it? Singing a song with the N-word in it in his junior high or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it can go both ways. See, the thing about Laramie Tunsil is that at the time was illegal.
Yeah, it wasn't legal.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything ever. So that's why it impacted, because now it's in the league, and now my number one draft pick gets suspended for half a season. Can't do it. So they're not going to do the investment. Now, if that happened, people, they. Like, I'm looking at my guy, Shamar Stewart, that's coming out of Texas A&M. He's 6'6", 285 pounds. Freaking monster. But the only thing I can think of is the time when he gave the China low blow to, I'm sorry, not that, but the actual low blow to an offensive lineman. You too young. You don't even know what that means, but that's not what I meant, guys.
He's talking about wrestling, guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying F you or anything like that. Yeah. See, we got an age disconnect. I wasn't trying to do the Italian FU or whatever it's called. I was trying to just demonstrate. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, do the Bills ignore that instance and draft a monster, or do they say, you know what, when he was a junior or so, whenever it was, he did that, and we can't have that now. We can't do that. You know, so that's to your point about culture. Now, more so about culture to me, to their point, is the mental part. Not so much the legality standpoint, do they smoke, do they drink, whatever. Is where's their head? Are they immature? Can they fit into my culture? Can I mold them to what I want? That kind of player, he's a head case, we'll say. We'll never get, what's the guy from Green Bay? Not Alexander, the linebacker. The one that kept getting kicked out of the game. I forget his name.
Kept getting kicked out of the game.
Yeah, he was
Vontez Burfict?
No, the Green Bay linebacker. I got to look it up. It's Quan something.
Walker.
Yeah. Yeah. He keeps but he's a good player.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
he'll
Quay
never
Walker.
Quay Walker.
Walker, yeah.
He'll never be here because he can't get it together.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, see, if I heard culture, I say, you know what? Come here, son. We got an environment. We'll help you. We'll get you what you need to get you better. Because they always say we got the top of the line psychology, we got the top of the line we got the top of the line athletics facilities. But what they don't say is we'll use this to get you better and bring you into a state where you're what do you say, upstanding young man.
Right.
Yeah.
He's what, 26, 27 maybe, if that.
Yeah.
Mold him.
Right.
Yeah. I think so. For me, like when I hear about culture, to me it's like these superstars that come and they make it in the NFL, whether you just making 53 or you a starter, like kids are coming to see you at training camp, you signing autographs. So to me, if I'm the owner or whatever, I want my guys to, when you come to work, you come to work, right? I don't care what you do outside, but interact with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Be fun. Don't be mean. Don't be snotty. Like, I ain't signing no autographs. Get out my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are doing a job. We're paying you to do a job. And I hate to say it, it's more than just going outside and playing football. It's more than that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to prepare yourself. You have to, basically, you put on the Bills uniform. Outside of here, you represent the Buffalo Bills. So at practices, at training camps, you represent the Buffalo Bills. So I would hate for my kids or my son to come up there and try to get your autograph, and you're like, oh, get out of here, kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or $20.
Right, you know what I'm saying? Or what you going to do? All you can do is sell it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody told me that's what happened with Bruce Smith one time. He asked him to sign something, like, so you can sell it, get some money. So to me, I want you to be able, when you put the uniform on, it's time to go to work. Right? When you take uniform off, I don't care what you do. Right? But when you come here, you put the uniform on, it should be business as usual.
Right. And I excuse me, and I think that's where I get to the thought process of culture works. I do believe culture works in terms of building the camaraderie, building that closeness that you need for guys to be inspired to play for each other, right? But when it comes to how I'm deciding to choose players in the draft or players in free agency, I think the mindset has to become, how can this player help my team win? When he comes in the door, he will become a part of the culture. If I believe in, in my culture the way I profess to, then I'll have the mindset that it really doesn't matter who I bring in because they'll conform to the culture. You know what I'm saying? But I think to some degree, you still have to be willing to give a shot to those players that are borderline. I'm not asking you to draft and sign a bunch of, George Pickenses and bring them in and just hope that they, you know what I mean? Because there's guys like that are just obvious.
So is a singular George Pickens George Pick-I?
George, how about George Pickenses?
We could do that.
Pickenses?
We could do that.
Pickenses? Is somebody trying to come in?
They're actually, you know what? I want to give the guys some credit off the rip.
Hold on.
I want to give you guys credit off the rip. The producers, they working today because they I see them over there. They switching away.
We cut out like a million times already.
But they switching it. Hey, you're not missing the beat.
I'm just trying to just stick with the flow. I'm trying to hurry and get this back on so you guys won't have no issue.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I hear you. I see you. We're good. So,
what's going on? Huh? Yeah, we live. You just walking in live. we got Coach D in the house. No. Yeah. You want to come say what's up to the folk? Okay, all right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, like you were saying, it's if you go get one of them at this point in time, if you're gonna preach culture, what is culture when all the guys are the same? The culture is to say, okay, now we got it established. We got our leadership council. We got too many chiefs, not enough Indians, if you will.
Right.
And I don't mean that in a racial tone, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
You know, you got 1-2 chiefs, a whole bunch of workers, a whole bunch of village. It takes a village to raise a child. Bring the child in with skill. Where's the elite talent? That's why they shy away from what they do.
Right.
Because they know they can't build it. And the talent that they have in that leadership council, they ain't leading nobody, and they know that.
Right.
It's just a name to appease people.
Yeah. And really, what it ends up looking more like is a business structure than an actual team structure. Whenever you have players playing that sort of middle management role, where Sean McDermott has put older veterans who are kind of on the backside of their careers to go sit in with these younger players and lead them and guide them and teach them and stuff like that, and you put one of those guys in every single classroom. And then those are the guys that are part of the leadership program that are sitting in these meetings with Sean McDermott and having these conversations about what Sean wants to see from the team. That is middle management. That's exactly what that is. It's a corporate structure. Yep. So, again, I think what we're really getting to the heart of now is so much of the way this team is run is it's not geared towards the things that we're being told it's geared towards. It's just not. When you kind of tear the threads apart and you look at the heart of the way this team is built, you look at the way that this team is told to play. It's so much of it is built around. How can I say this? It's built around a vision of a business having long-term sustainability. That's really what it comes down to. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and step all over that and say, no, I don't want the Bills to win 10-plus games every season, but I want it to mean something at the same time. I want it to lead to something.
I thought it was ironic that in Bean's press conference he alluded to, hey, we've won 13-plus games the last 4 years. So?
Right.
So what?
Was that the goal?
If it was, let me know.
Right. If that was the goal, then, hey, you accomplished it. But if the goal was the Super Bowl, right.
Now you can sit with me and watch my son play Saints Row on the PlayStation on Sunday.
Yeah. Yes, Laura, that is that's Junie, and then the young man next to him it would be Mac Jr.
Say hi to the people.
No doubt.
Okay, he ain't saying hi. Well, we know you.
Yeah, Matt.
He's smooth, but he's sleepy. Look
right,
at
Junior don't talk much. He only talk when he needs to.
He talks when he needs to. That's
right.
It.
Smooth brother over there.
That's
smooth.
it. I want to be like him when I get older.
So real quick, Tia Edwards, welcome to the show. You are now part of the family.
Sorry.
What
have you stumbled onto on this Friday evening?
If you were thinking about just dipping in and dipping out, you can't now. You're stuck here. You have to stay forever. She says, shout out to the east side of Buffalo. Jimmy took us to another level.
You.
Jimmy Josh, maybe is that where we going with that? Listen, I don't care. I'm pretty sure she means JA17, so we're gonna roll with that. So here's what I wanted to ask you guys.
Well, before you do, I want to hear your point, because this is where I think Vaughn is very, very important to what the team is doing forward. Because you have a Mac Hollins.
Interesting.
Because you look at Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins is infectious, right? Everybody's walking around barefooted. I would be the only one. They'd be like, Key, take him off. Nah, ain't doing it. But anyway, but on the other side, to your goody two-shoes point, what is Vaughn not?
A goody two-shoes.
Vaughn is known, outside of singing Brooks and Dunn on YouTube shorts, he's known for not being the nicest dude. But at the same time, when he loves you, he takes you in. Javon Solomon, whoever we draft this year. But the thing is, when I'm a young player from the inner city or whatever, I can relate to this dude, because one, he's one of the best at what he does. He's been there twice. He's got an MVP.
Right.
Wow. Wait a minute, but he's accessible to me, and I'm not like Josh, because I didn't come up on a farm. I'm not rural. I'm inner city. I'm urban. Vaughn, tell me what you know. And there's guys on the team that will gravitate towards that. Maybe he doesn't play as much as he used to, but people want to eat this salary cap. Use him. The cap ain't going nowhere. Whatever you do with him, you just paying him not to be there, like you did with Steph last year. Let's not do the 2 years in a row. I get why people don't want him here. I get moving forward, but you're not moving forward with the money.
Right.
Use his brain. He knows what he is. Use his brain.
I am going. I want to go all in on Myles Garrett.
All go what now?
I want to go all in on Myles Garrett. Put all my chips to the center. Give me Myles Garrett.
Quick question.
Before you do that, you had something to say because we were going to talk about that.
Let's roll with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Myles Garrett.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Yep.
Would you take Max Crosby though instead?
Yes, either one. I would prefer Myles, but if I can't get Myles, I'll take Crosby in a heartbeat because he hates Mahomes. He hates that guy.
Okay. I think I would take Max Crosby first, and I do respect what Myles Garrett has done. And I had to think about this too because there were really good arguments on both sides. Like for getting a guy like Myles Garrett, you're getting the best player at his position in the NFL over the last 7 years, 8 years, right? That he's been in the league. That is very beneficial to a team that has not had playmakers like that pretty much ever. Right? So that instantly helps your team. But then I thought about this. If I'm going to trade for Myles Garrett and he's only got 2 years left on his contract and I have to give him more money, how many years am I going to get out of the money that I'm giving him?
See, this is my contention, and this is where everybody can hate me because I am out on Myles Garrett, first and foremost.
I think I agree with that.
See, I know, but the thing is this: if you look at Myles Garrett, you're talking about $35 million probably. That's what people are saying over 4 years.
Yep.
So $140 million over 4 years. We've seen this movie before. We just talked about him 2 minutes ago.
Yes,
But it's a big difference.
No, but see, the thing is, this is the
that
problem.
part is right.
It's a big difference.
This is the problem, though. This is the problem because, as Bean stated in his press conference, you're never one player away, and I believe that because if you get Myles Garrett, guess what? Who are you cutting? Who are you passing on in the draft? How many players are you passing on in the draft in the next couple of years?
Right.
On top of the money that what if he gets hurt?
Right.
Who's your secondary? Rasul Douglas in here. So you're talking about Kyer Elam, Christian Benford, Bishop, and Rapp.
Yeah.
Who's behind them? Because
Yeah.
we ain't got Hamlin. What about linebacker? We got 2 off-injured linebackers.
Yeah.
Where's the depth there? Because you can't afford. What you going to do? Get Mike Edwards of linebackers there?
Right.
What about your D tackles?
Exactly.
You got nothing there because you traded everything away. See, I get the Myles Garrett point, but the point is, I looked at the numbers on Cleveland with Myles Garrett last year in his 14 sacks, whatever it is, and what we did. Their defensive output wasn't far from where we were, and I think we had 2 more sacks than Cleveland did last year, or 2 less sacks than Cleveland did last year as a team. And I'm looking at the output, and this is what I was talking about when I sent you guys a text message yesterday when I said, "Oh, I got something to talk about." They rehired this guy, this assistant defensive line coach.
Oh, the guy from Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to him. Don't.
No, I wasn't gonna park on him.
Okay.
But the point is, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
you've seen a pig before?
Seen the what?
A pig before?
Yes.
You ever seen a pig with lipstick? Because guess what?
That's a trick question, bro.
What is it? It's still a pig. The defense still has no pass rush.
Yeah.
This guy's not going to fix that. Nobody's going to fix not Myles Garrett. Not Myles Garrett. I'm talking about the coach. Now, if you get Myles Garrett, you're getting rid of Rousseau. So now you have what? Garrett. You got Oliver.
You still got to draft another defensive end.
But
you don't have a first round pick.
That's where do you get him, and how long you want to wait for him?
Right.
Because now you got to get some FNS on the other side because Rousseau's gone.
Yeah.
That's part of this.
Yeah.
So it's a degradation of a team that's not that great on that side to get one guy, and that's why I said we saw him with Mario Williams. Even though Mario Williams brought in some guys with him, the name is cool. The accolades is cool, but what was the scheme?
And here's I think this is where I land in terms of trading for either one of these guys, to be perfectly honest, because if my feet are being held to the fire and I have to choose one or the other, I'm choosing Max Crosby because I know I'm going to get more time and a similar level of productivity for probably a little bit less money, because he hasn't accomplished yet all of the things that Myles Garrett has, right? So I'll get similar production for slightly less money, which allows me to do a little bit more with the rest of my defense. But if I had to choose between trading for one of those guys and going the opposite route and drafting my entire defense, I think at this point of where this team build is with the cap space that we have, I have to go draft route, because the second I trade for Max Crosby or a Myles Garrett, not only a draft pick in the first round, I'm giving up at least a 2 and 1 more swap with the Browns. Same thing for Max Crosby. I'm probably giving up a little bit more because he's younger, right? So the second I do that, people would instantly, rah-rah and jump up and cheer, and yeah, we got a playmaker on defense now. We're going to beat the Chiefs. But here's the kicker. We've already seen what having a good pass rusher looks like on our team going up against Tom Brady when we had Mario Williams. What did the Patriots do? They just get the ball out quick and negate the pass rush. And it meant nothing. All $100 million of having Mario Williams meant nothing in those games, in the division, when we needed it, right? So while it does on paper and it does during the regular season provide this immense noticeable boost, when we get to playing a team like the Chiefs, how much is it really going to matter? I mean, we were getting pressure on Mahomes with the guys we got now.
The difference is when you look at Myles Garrett versus Pat Mahomes, he's a game wrecker. He's a game wrecker. So case in point, the last game we just played against the Chiefs, we had 16 pressures, the whole team. Mm-hmm. The last time Kansas City played the Browns in Week 15, Myles Garrett alone had 12.
Okay.
Alone had 12. If you look at the Houston game, hold on. If you look at the Houston game, that defensive end was all over Pat Mahomes. All over him.
Who's that?
Yes, Anderson. All over the dude. Mm-hmm. So this is why I say I want Myles Garrett. Number one, he already got paid. The reason why he wanted to get traded because he wants a championship.
So you think he would take a hometown discount to come here?
I'm not saying a hometown discount, but I don't think it will be as much as we think it is, because his main focus, because like I said, he already got a second contract. He already got paid, guaranteed 100 and whatever million. So he already got his big money. He's looking for the ring now. So I think if he's on a team that has an opportunity in the window to get a championship, I think he's going to do whatever it takes to get there. Now, Max Crosby, he hasn't got the big contract yet. So for me, I think he still wants both. He still wants to get paid, but he wants the ring too. But I think in the long run, it'll be cheaper to go with Myles Garrett than Max Crosby. Like I say, either one, I'll take either one of them at a drop of a hat. I don't care. But just for as far as the money-wise, because one, I know where one's, he's looking at the money and the championship, he's just looking at the championship. And as far as, like, the impact is instant impact. Now, Myles Garrett, we know he's a game wrecker right now, right? So let's just say he's 29. So we'll give him at least 2 years confident he can still be elite, and maybe in that third year he might dip down a little bit, like kind of like a Watt. Watt is a little bit older. He's still good, but you can tell he's starting to peel back a little bit. He's not the same
Sonata
versus
like Toyota Camry. Look what Sonata.
We got ads flowing. All right.
So I don't care what it takes. If it's 2 first rounds, I don't care how many first rounds you got to give him. Get Myles Garrett on this team, man.
See, I can respect
and
that.
then from the press conference, both McDermott and Bean said the same thing, just said it a different way. One said we need to get the top positions of these players, the one or three in their top positions. Bean said we need blue chippers. Mm-hmm. Myles Garrett fits that. Mm-hmm. He is probably the best edge rusher in the game right now. Probably. Right? So I'm saying go all in and get this dude. Get him. Now, of course, you're going to have to draft. Again, your whole draft is going to be defense.
Yeah.
Get him and bank up on these defense picks. You could put in Solomon, let him get some reps, because I think he's going to be a beast once he gets going and once he gets in a certain position. Is more leverage for you to build on, because now you got.
Well, you'd have to at that point. You only have Epinesa and Solomon.
Yeah, so now you got Vaughn in the room and you got Myles Garrett.
Well, you probably won't have Vaughn. Yeah, you probably.
Yeah, they'd have to cut if they're going to bring Myles on. They got to cut him.
Yeah, you have Epinesa, Solomon.
And it'll be a post June cut, right? For
Vaughn?
Yeah, it would have to be if they want to save more money.
That'll maximize the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because who else were we talking about?
Yeah.
Well,
Everybody
who
else, they
knows?
would have to kick the can down the road.
There's nothing else to kick. That's the problem. Honestly,
No. They said there's a few, but not as many as they had last
they don't
year.
have the money. There's people you can
Yeah,
kick, but
yeah,
it's not like one person you can just say, okay, I'm gonna take a big chunk here. You
Right.
know, because Josh is gonna MVP. You're done.
You're done.
You're
Yeah.
done. He's gonna get that money.
I think the one question you would have to answer though with to me an impossible level of certainty is who's going to be in your backfield at that point. If you get Myles Garrett, who are you know what I mean? Because now you're depending on
right,
you're depending on later picks yet again, less talented guys, less impactful guys to come into your secondary and be the guy that sticks with these speedy receivers for the Chiefs while Myles Garrett takes that 2 seconds to get to the quarterback.
And that's,
Now,
yeah.
right, and so when you have what the Eagles have, which is great man cover guys and a great pass rush, then it works because now you're taking away the quick, easy options. You're taking away the hot reads and those things that make it easy for a quarterback to deal with a pass rush. And now you're forcing the quarterback to play under the pressure. See, that's what the Bills would have to build on defense if they get a guy like Myles Garrett, but they'd have to do it with less picks and less money, even more less money than what they're going to have. We're still talking about a team that's going to open up the offseason with what, minus $5 million of cap space, or they'll be over by $5 million. So they have to hope that the cap goes up high enough to give them some breathability on that, and then make all of the necessary moves to get under the cap. Make this trade for Myles Garrett, cut Von Miller, kick whatever cans they can down the road just to be able to pay Myles Garrett. Let's say they just stay where Myles Garrett is at right now, which is I think $28 million.
20.
No, for 25, he's at 19.7.
Okay, so he'll probably want somewhere around 25 to 28 million on a new deal, right? And let's say he settles and we pay him 23, right? And we just make the contract incentive laden like crazy, just so that he has the ability to make more money. If we did something like that, we'd probably end up at the end of all of that with roughly $10 million. Roughly. And that's a big rough. Right. That's what I'm saying. It's a big rough because even in that, and 10 million is like that, like you said, it's a big stretch. Out of that 10 million, you have to save 7 for the draft picks. You know what I'm saying? So that leaves you $3 million. We know the Bills like to go into the regular season with at least 2.5 in case they need to make an emergency signing. Yeah. So now you're like really up against it with Myles Garrett, and you have to depend on these draft picks now.
So what I'm thinking, you can get rid of Elam and Rasul. So that's 2 people off. Yeah, so you can roll with Benford, draft a cornerback. Then you got the 2 safeties, which I want them to draft another one, but at least for the time being, you can either go with Rapp or you can go with Bishop. Then linebacker, you already got Dorian Williams and you got TB. You can get rid of Matt Milano, so you can get rid of him.
You can't get rid of Matt Milano because that's a big cap hit. Yeah, that's a dead cap.
His cap hit doesn't go down until next year.
Post June cut, it saves us 8.4.
It saves 8.4, but what's the dead though?
Yeah, what's the dead cap hit?
I don't know what the dead is.
I gotta look it up because it's still. I'll look it up. It's still gonna.
But so
be a detriment.
The way I'm doing it, if you're gonna go with Myles Garrett, then you gotta basically cut a lot of other people and get rid of a lot of people. So,
exactly. Yeah.
So, but the people that you get rid of, they won't be missed.
I mean, I would miss Matt Milano right now. I think I would still miss Matt Milano. I think he's still
with Bernard and Dorian Williams. So basically, you just got to fill in one person on that linebacker core.
Okay, but you're still talking about filling 2 safety positions and 1 corner position with 4th round and further draft picks because you still got to get a defensive tackle, and this is a very strong draft for defensive linemen. So if I'm going to get a guy, I want to get him in a higher round.
Well,
I don't have a 3rd round pick.
You got to think about draft and free agency.
Yeah, but I'm not going to have money for free agency if I sign Garrett.
It depends on who you get. Like you don't have to get a guy who's going to demand a huge amount of money,
so
but you can get somebody who's
Javon Holland or somebody like that. Javon Holland's about 3.2. They're estimating for last year, so they'll get him $6 million.
And to me, Javon Holland is an upgrade with any one of the safeties.
Yeah.
So
right, but would he want to? Would he want to come here for that money though?
Javon
Holland is going to be able to command some money on the market.
And I also,
Well, yeah.
I would,
Do you want to? Is he looking at money, or is he want to try to get a chance for a ring?
No, every player's looking at money, bro.
I would contend. Yeah,
Every
I would
player.
contend. My thing about Myles Garrett is, I know he wants to ring and all that, but I would contend, sell me. Like I said last show, sell me. You got an offensive coordinator who just showed you presumably everything he has.
Yeah.
You got nothing on offense that you upgraded because you don't have the draft picks. So you can kiss the guy from TCU goodbye, which I really like. I'm high on him. You'll like him. He's 6'5", 225 beast. I'll send you the footage later. But then you're talking about Myles Garrett, and I'm playing with who? Who's behind? Who's next to me? Why are we playing Bale?
Now that's also part of selling Myles Garrett on this team, because it's not just, hey, come play with Josh. It's like, is Myles Garrett going to be the only dog on defense trying to make everything happen?
Yeah,
because if he's now part of a defense that's a bunch of young guys and him, that's a lot to put on a guy on a 29-year-old defensive end shoulders. You know what I'm saying?
So you figure you got him, you got Ed Oliver, you got Dwayne Carter, and you got let's say they put in Javon Solomon.
Right, but Ed Oliver needs a one tech. Where's your one tech coming from?
Dwayne Carter.
Dwayne Carter's not a one tech.
He's not even playable right now.
Again. Me personally, I don't
No,
care.
we're not-
One tech,
we're
two
not
tech.
doing that.
I don't care about that.
But you
play
have
the
to.
physical. No, you don't.
Yes, you do, bro. I can't.
All it is how they line up. That's how is where they come out of their stance. Like it doesn't matter. Like you don't. Oh, you got to have this. You don't have to have that.
No. I'm
Ed Oliver
saying
does.
Ed Oliver has to have that because we've seen what he plays like without one.
Ed Oliver,
It's not great.
Yeah, even when he had one last year, it wasn't excellent. I think Dwayne Carter's got a lot of work to do. I think Dwayne Carter, if you look at how he played, he had one good game where he went ballistic. Oh, Dwayne. Then after that, he got blown off the ball every time I watched him. It was like, all right, forget this. It goes into, and like I said, I respect the people that want Myles Garrett. We know people want Myles Garrett. We know people want Trey Hendrickson. People want pretty much anybody because why? Let's face it, they were trash last year.
Right.
As a unit, everybody's better than me, so I will say that. But they're still trash in comparison to their peers.
Right.
Mom, because she said stop calling people trash. I'm not. I refuse. But I mean, like I
Definitely
said,
can't do that with Coach D here either.
no. But the thing is, when you talk about these parts, what you're saying, and I didn't think you were going to say this because this is what was going in my notes and what I was thinking all this whole time. I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, Myles Garrett is going to feed the trap because what does Mahomes do? What do all West Coast quarterbacks do? They throw the ball fast.
Right.
And what do? We bail.
Yep.
We always play bail technique.
Yep.
You like you said, press man. Who does that?
Not us.
Not us. Who's our safety? Who's our ball hawk? We ain't got one.
Right.
Where we getting one? Andrew Makuba, okay, round 4. Because guess what? Xavier Watts, he's gone. Everybody that you're looking at, they're gone. So Billy Bowman, if you want to really dig deep in the weeds and try to hit Christian Benford, for the third, fourth, fifth time, because that's all you got because you traded 2 1s or 1 1 and 2 2, you're cooked.
Well, even with that, and look, this might make me sound like the bad guy, but Christian Benford is not a number 1 corner.
No. What I'm saying is that the 6th rounder they start right away.
No. Yeah. I just want to make sure we're clear about the players we have right now. Look, Terrell Bernard is a great story because he makes a lot of plays in the run game. And he's a good blitzer, but we don't use him that way because we don't have the defensive line that allows him to do that. Right. So we have all of these players with these cool capabilities that technically are out of position, but because they've not been asked to step outside of their comfort zone too much in this defense, it works. And so we look at these picks and we say, man, these are great picks. They're late picks. They work out. They do fine in this defense. Sean McDermott is a successful coach. And that's the mindset on all of this. But it's really ridiculous when you think about what these players are asked to do in the playoffs. We played 43% man against the Chiefs. Man. Christian Benford was named the best zone corner in the NFL.
Right.
For a reason.
Right.
Like, if you look at the grades of him playing man, he's a safety. And the only reason he's successful as a corner in our defense is because it's an eyes defense. It's a zone defense. Like, I just the idea that and look, we're doing it because we have to right now. We're doing it because we don't have anybody better at that position than Benford right now. Elam didn't work out. So now we're going into this offseason and we're going into 2025 thinking Benford is our number one. He's a good corner. But did we see what happened to him in the Chiefs game?
What happened to everybody else?
Right. He made one good play on the stop downfield. I will give him that. And he has one or two of those plays in him. But let's be honest, if teams want to attack him, and they will, and they will succeed. So I don't want to think of Benford as a shutdown number one corner. I can think of him as the best starter we have. I can think of him as the best corner we have, and I'll be fine with that. If we decided to move him to safety, he'd be the best safety we have, in my opinion. But when I'm thinking about where this defense needs to go, again, we're talking about a defense that, by comparison, when we talked about the stats, and actually me and Pop were talking about this earlier with Rich, the stat that stands out the most in the playoffs is the EPA stat, which is Josh Allen has an EPA of 3 points per drive, right? That is like tops in NFL history, right? The defense, conversely, gave up 4 against Mahomes, and in every game that they've lost in the playoffs, and that is 4 points per drive. That's higher than, huh? Right. How do you expect Josh Allen to win with that kind of defense when they're giving up more points than he's able to score historically in games that they've lost in the playoffs?
So now let's look at the last game, the Bills and Chiefs, right? Now that everybody had a chance to cool off, let's get the emotions out of it and just look at stat for stat. How many touchdowns did the Bills score on Kansas City?
4.
4. How many touchdowns did Kansas City score on the Bills?
4.
4. Going into the game in the playoffs, Kansas City had the number one defense in the playoffs, right? Ours wasn't even close, right? How many times did we make the Kansas City Chiefs punt?
Once.
Twice. How many times did we punt? Twice.
Okay.
Only difference is they had extra turnover. The only difference for us, we went 4 for 6 on 4th down. 4 for 6. That's still good. But it was those miscues on plays that cost you the game. So you mean to tell me the Bills scored 4 touchdowns on the Chiefs, which they did on every team, based on what they played for from week 1 to the championship, they done what they always done. They're going to get at least probably 30 points on you. So that's 4 touchdowns and a field goal. That's what they got, 4 touchdowns and a field goal. The problem is, I agree, the defense. However, you put better players on the defense, that game doesn't. The outcome of the game is different.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
like look at it. Like look at it for stat. Like they were right there the whole time.
Okay.
The whole time they were right there.
So
there's only 3 or 4 plays that made the difference.
No. And here's why. How many points on average did the Chiefs score during the regular season?
20s.
20. And we gave up how much?
32.
Right. In every away game that the Buffalo Bills have played in the playoffs, what's the average amount of points that the Bills give up?
Same amount.
33. Right? So we're talking about a defense historically now that every away game they play, they give up
Over 30.
over 30 points. And they gave up over 30 points to a team that had never this season scored more than 21 points in a game.
They scored 30 points in the game.
Against us. When did they score 30 in the regular season?
Against Carolina.
No.
Yes.
See, I think.
So my whole point is everybody's like, oh, we're not even close. They scored the same amount of touchdowns against us. And their defense was way better.
Well, this is my thing. You ain't got to go that deep. It was 32-29. It was close.
It was
Anybody
30
said
to
close,
27.
crazy.
Right. So I mean, again, we're talking about a 3. At the time, they were 3-8 when they played. So it's a bad Carolina Panthers team. They beat up on a bad team. Like, I get what you're saying in terms of the exception to the rule. We're talking about a team all season long that averaged no more than 22 points a game.
I'm just
on
saying,
average.
This game boils down to 3 or 4 plays. That's it. 3 or 4 plays. 3 or 4 plays changed the outcome of
Okay.
this game.
100%.
What 3 or 4 plays?
The 4th downs. KC was 1 for 1. Bills were 4 for 6. We get 6 for 6. Game over.
I'm glad you said that because
Game over. 6
because
for
that
6.
feeds right into what we were talking about. What did they do to keep failing? Tush push
Exactly.
over and
So
over and over again.
Hold on. They converted 4 out of 6, so they only missed 2
Wait,
4th downs.
tush pushers?
No, they only got 1 tush push.
I'm not talking about tush pushes. I'm talking about 4th downs.
No, I'm talking about tush push.
we talking about tush
I'm just talking about the
pushes.
play
Well, I'm talking about 4th downs because
Yeah.
to me,
because
if you get to a 1st down, if you get to a 4th down and you convert it,
right.
I don't care what happened on the 3rd
I'm
down.
100% with you
That's
because
what I'm
guess
saying.
what?
So I
On
don't
third,
care
no,
about
no.
the tush
What I'm saying is on 3rd down, their tush pushing is not hurt. So now you get a 4th down. So now you got to run another play to get that first. So they got it sometime, but the tush push wouldn't work. But they kept doing it.
Right.
That's my thing. So it's not the 4th down component, which you're right. If they could convert at a higher, even 3rd down, if they could limit the 3rd down, bring no. Now ain't worry about the percentage converted. How about we just bring the 3rd downs down and move the ball? How about we average 4 yards a play? Because 4 yards a play. Let me do my math. Ken, you with me? 4, 8, first down.
Right.
4, 8,
Right.
first down. So, like you said, the turnover, the tush pushes, not using James Cook. I mean, come on now. Come on. What are we talking about here?
Right.
It was egregious. The game plan was egregious, and it was offense.
Right.
We're not talking the defense. The defense, But when I watched, I was in the gym. Yeah, I was trying to get it going today. I do my little thing. I was watching some Sports Center or whatever it was they had on the TV, and they were showing Philadelphia's defense. You know what I saw? Creativity, innovation.
Yep.
Not 4 man. Because another reason why I don't want Myles Garrett, because you're talking about how much did you say? What's the number you said on his contract?
20. Well, he's probably going to want between 25 and 28 million.
Okay, so what do you say, Matt?
With his contract,
Yeah, just throw something. What do you think?
let's say he go for 25.
25? You know what the highest percentage of snaps was on defense for the defensive line last year?
What?
66%. So I'm going to pay.
A little over half. I'm not paying 25 million for that.
But let me ask you this though: if he comes to the team, you think he gonna run them same percentages? I don't.
I do.
They were rotating Von Miller when he first got his contract.
Von Miller is not Myles Garrett.
Von Miller had 8.5 sacks in the first.
Right. He was on.
8.5.
No,
sacks.
bro.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
you can't.
That's not even double digits.
bruh.
I don't care if you got 8.5.
But he only played 8 games.
So what?
No.
Hold on.
What did you want Von to do?
Is he a game record like Myles Garrett?
He used to be.
I don't care about used to be. When he came on the Bills, was he a game record like Myles Garrett?
Yes,
No, he was not.
when he first started
No.
playing, yeah, bro.
He was
Oh
not a
my
game
god,
record.
okay. I mean that's really a matter of 8 sacks in how many games?
Like 8. He had 8.5 in 8 games.
8.5 sacks in 8 games. You know what that's on pace for? One of Myles Garrett's best seasons, in which he had 18.5 sacks or something like
Yeah,
that.
he had 14 last year. So
Right,
yeah,
it's that same pace.
So okay, the difference is how many do we rush on this defense?
4.
Exactly. Myles Garrett is the best person you got if you're going to run 4.
Yeah,
they
but that
blitz more
doesn't
than we
mean
do.
he's
They
going to be
blitz
out
one.
there every play though.
But okay, let me say this though. They blitzed almost twice as much as we do. We were 11th in the league in blitzes. We were 26. So there's a stark difference. Obviously, they like I said with Philly, they have creativity. If you have Myles Garrett and creativity, hell, give me Greg Rousseau and creativity. Give me Epinesa and these guys are athletes, right? These guys are young, right? They want to move, right? Let them move.
Right.
Stop making them do what they did when Bruce Smith and Fred Smerlis was playing.
Right, one position only.
One position. You
stay
do
right here and
this.
rush. That's it.
You got Greg Rousseau, who was a wide receiver in high school, a tight end. You had him at 3 tech, you had him at 5 tech, 9 tech, but you do this. Then you got guys talking about Keon Coleman, who was disappointment when he did exactly in the pros what he did in college.
Right.
To the T. Dalton Kincaid, to the T, but they spin it. So what we're saying now is Myles Garrett, let's get this blue chipper and make him do the exact same BS that we've been doing. Because Von Miller said, I'm not going to Buffalo to play less than 75%. Guess what he was? I just told you the highest person was 66%.
That was Ed Oliver though, wasn't it?
It was Ed Oliver. So what does that tell you? That's not even to poo-poo on your point, because in a perfect world, you're right.
Yes.
28 million. That's why I said,
100%.
what would you pay him?
Listen, so my thing is this. Everybody's looking at the negative. I'm looking at the positives.
No,
so
I'm
not saying that.
Yeah,
So here's the thing. Just because you think negative don't mean that's what's going to happen.
No, I'm not.
So,
It doesn't mean- it
so
doesn't
from my
mean-
point of view, I'm looking at the positive. I'm looking at what can happen when you put Myles Garrett on a team like this. What can happen when he playing against Mahomes in the championship game? What can happen when you get a guy like that on this team?
Okay, part of building a business, right? And I've been a part of this process a few times now. Part of building a business is you present the game plan, and then you have a team of people that poke holes in the game plan so that the outcome or the final game plan is that much better, right? So when you're, I'm saying all that to say, when you're building a business, part of building a successful business is seeing both sides. You have to see the good, but you also have to be able to acknowledge the bad too. And when we're talking about millions of dollars being spent for a team that wants to win a Super Bowl, we have to weigh the pros and cons. There's both sides that play into the same decision every single time. So it's not us looking at the negative. We're simply looking at all of the other options available as part of the consideration. So when we're talking about the process of thinking about whether or not we want Myles Garrett, we also have to consider, well, it's not just, you have to choose whether you want Myles Garrett or not. There's also the other option of you can draft some guys, or you can find another guy out there to sign for a lesser contract that might be a little bit on the younger side and just needs an opportunity, like a Jerry Hughes did.
I was
you know what I'm saying?
Like you said, if we did, and this is not me pros and cons or wanting to go to Crosby or anybody else, but 35 mil, we'll just use that number because that's what I heard people throwing out there for Myles Garrett. You take that 35 mil, you give Max Crosby 25, you give Javon Holland 8. Guess what? You got two players, complementary pieces, for less than what you pay for one person. That's where my mind is.
Right.
And I mean, I get it. Like I said before, I understand. I'm not going to tell anybody you're wrong because of how you feel.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. But my thing is, my thing is like, when Vine gets in the Buffalo and says, you know what, I got on the plane and I was going to tell him no. Yay, Vine. And then what happens in game 9 or 10? We go to Detroit and the rest is history. Yeah. So that's where the story ends. But we still got to pay this dude. Yeah. And not on top of that, we kicked it down the road because guess what? We couldn't afford it. Right. I'm going to go get a Range Rover today after I leave here today. And I can't afford it. So I better hope and pray that this thing works out, because if it don't, I'm royally screwed.
I'll split it with you, bro. Don't worry.
Okay. Cool.
Right. So I think what you're talking about though is it's how do I want to say this? It's like we're trying to bring levity to a conversation about, okay, so for example, when we first started the season, you were the one that said we're gonna make the playoffs. You were right? But you also said what? You said we're gonna lose in the divisional round, right? Once we started getting to later in the season, I think all of us started looking at the Super Bowl as a possibility, right? And we all started to buy into the thought of, man, we got a real shot. The rest of the NFL don't look as good. The Bills look really good. Nobody knows how to defend our offense. We scoring 30 points a game, and all of this stuff is kind of adding up to all these positives and leading us to, man, we're gonna win a Super Bowl, right? Well, that didn't happen, right? And in that thought process of us getting excited and thinking about all the positives of everything that we were seeing the team do, there still existed the possibility that we don't make a Super Bowl, right? And so I think the and it doesn't have to be the opposite perspective. It's just a different perspective, really. I think the different perspective or the perspective of trying to bring levity to the conversation is coming from a place of, look, we've been in several situations with this team where we've been in rah-rah moments where we've chosen to see things from the positive side primarily. It doesn't mean we didn't, see or acknowledge that there could have been some negative stuff, but we chose not to focus on that. We chose to focus on the positive. Cool. But when we I don't know where we left off at before the mic cut out, but basically just yes, thank you, Laura. Audio and video cut out. like I said, for everybody's watching, if you're unfamiliar with our technical issues, I just had my guy Rich in here today to look at the system. So we're gonna get some things set up to get that taken care of permanently. We appreciate your patience.
I already said in the comments, Rich, no McDermott for the president. You can't say that.
No, he tried. He tried. We had about a good hour-long conversation when he was here about it.
We were straight. I was gonna let you have it. Nope. Oh yeah, and to go way back, cutting Milano post June 1 nets you with $3 million savings.
What's the dead cap at?
Dead cap is 14.
14 million with $3 million in savings? It's not even worth it.
You say no. If you extrapolate it, the net is $3 million. So
So,
but what is
yeah, that's I'm sorry. That's not worth the dead cap hit to me, honestly. If that's the difference.
Yeah, right here. So you gotta do the
so
difference between these two.
Well, post June would be $9 million, right?
No, this is the cap savings, but this is what goes against the cap. This still stays.
Okay, so 6.1. We'll round it up. $6.2 million dead cap hit and a $9.6 million savings that we would get back into our salary cap space.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you're gonna have Joe Andreessen and Ulifacio and those are gonna be your backups.
Yeah, I mean,
Balin Spector.
No. I think we need to start getting Ulifocio in there and get him ready to step in as needed. Look, this is the good part about having as many picks as we have, and we have 9 right now, and that's with two expected compensatory picks, one in the 4th and one in the 6th. I think we're in a good spot with a good defensive draft class to really build it out and not have to spend a lot of money, or we draft key positions and we have a little bit of extra money to spend on, maybe not a blue chip defensive player, but a guy that's slightly less than blue chip that when playing in our system and playing with our guys will have better productivity than he would somewhere else, right? I just think the idea of being able to fill out my defense for a better cost rather than having that, max blue chip player that's going to be extremely productive, on his own, but may not necessarily translate to, deep postseason wins per se. I you know what I mean? Like, I guess it comes down to this. It really comes down to this. We're going into year 2 of a new build. Right? We're going into year 2 of a new build. And I think we're about to make the same mistake that we did with the first AFC Championship appearance. We got to that game sooner than we expected. We got to that game in year 3 of the Josh Allen build? Because he was drafted in 2018, so we got there in 2020. So year 2, we got there in year 2 of the Josh Allen build, right? And from that point on, everybody said, now you have to go all in, right? That's when they went after Von Miller. That was the point where we got to, okay, now we got to start going out and finding that savior pass rusher. That's when we got to start going out and keeping as many of the good players that we have on this team and spending all the money and all that kind of stuff. Like, that to me was the first mistake. You should have stayed in the game plan and stuck to the process of your build through the draft.
But this is where I'm with that too. And you guys, please chime in because I'm going to ask you a question here. What is McDermott's catchphrase that everybody hates in press conferences? His halftime is one phrase. It's a 2-worder. The second word is football.
Complimentary football.
Complimentary football.
Yep.
What's a strong pass rush with a Putz defensive backfield? What's a strong defensive backfield? So instead of going all in on one spot defensive line, not Myles Garrett, but just the whole totality of what they've been doing. I mean, we got the most expensive defensive line probably in the league. I don't know, but where's the compliment to that? Where's the lockdown safety? Where's the guy that's going to shut down one half of the field so you can go ahead and attack the other half with the rest? You're talking about a defensive mastermind that got out mastermind by Spagnuolo. You're talking about a defensive mastermind that can't figure out tiddlywinks. So what is a defensive mastermind? My thing with McDermott is, if you're a mastermind, where's your creativity? Where's your innovation? Where's the things that you can do it with less? Chan Gailey did it. That offensive unit was horrible,
Right.
in and of themselves, but they couldn't be stopped. You had a noodle arm quarterback. You had wide receivers. Nobody knew who they were. You had an offensive line that we thought the quarterback was going to get killed. But alas, guess what? Your innovation gets you through that. But McDermott keeps going ahead and say, you know what? We gotta win in the trenches.
Right.
And we never do. I mean, it's silently we do, but we've never been a dominating front four, unless I'm wrong. I don't know. I've never known this to be a dominating front four under McDermott.
No.
And that's claim to frame. To me, he's really trying to find his unload Luke Kuechly.
Yeah.
That's what he wants,
Yeah.
but he can't find it. He can't put his hands on it. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, the next best thing is this. You get your defensive end who feeds the ball to the cornerback.
Mm-hmm.
You get your cornerback who locks everybody down for Gregory so to get his 9th sack of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want. I mean, I get it, but the thing is, when you're talking about the NFL, these guys have been on every level of succeed. I'm talking about coaches.
Mm-hmm.
They know Garrett's out there. Why do you think Cleveland sucks? Why do you think? It's not Jameis. It's not Myles Garrett.
Right.
But the offensive coordinator they know what he's going to do. But they know there's nobody behind him that's gonna feed you into it. So what I saw when I watched this clip of Philadelphia earlier, it was like a fake stunt where Carter comes around.
Mm-hmm.
I forget who the defensive end was, but as opposed to pursuing the blitz, when Jordan Love rushes out, he dropped back in coverage. So that little flat he thought he had to pull it down and think about it. We don't do anything like this.
Right.
We do none of this. All we do is rush the same boring front four. We don't blitz. We don't do anything.
Right.
All these young guys for what? And Kevin said, it's time for that blue chip. I agree.
Well, Kev, and he might be being sarcastic because I think Kev has kind of been on our side most of the time. But he says stop acting like our GM can draft in early rounds, like that to me is the point.
Well, I'm talking about the jumping salary cap comment.
Huh?
When he said the salary cap is going to jump and the TV deals kick in.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, but I don't know what the number is. That's the thing. I can't postulate what we're going to do when we don't know what the number is. We're speculating. All we got right now is we can say we're $4 million in the hole.
Well, what was it last season? And I get we were coming off of a dip in TV performance and stuff like that, but we saw what $15-20 million cap bump.
I think it was 20.
Right at that
I
point.
think they're saying another 25 or so, so that will give us $20 million cap space before you do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do some things, but that $20 million gets eaten up right away when you start signing players.
Exactly. And listen, Josh still has to get his extension. He's set to make $60 million this year. So even with the additional $20 million, a good chunk of that is going to go towards this $60 million that Josh still got to get paid. So even if they do give him an extension, it's still probably going to be somewhere in the 50 millions. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It may not be 60, but it'll be 50 something, right? So, the salary cap jump and all that kind of stuff, it all has to be taken in context. And I think that's really what we're trying to get to in all the Myles Garrett craze, the Max Crosby craze, and all this stuff. It's like, we were just in the AFC Championship game. We're so close. Now let's do it again. Let's get back there. You know how hard it is to get back there? It took us 5 years just to get back there. 5. We don't know that it's going to happen again next year. We can for damn sure say that it's not going to be a situation where the rest of the NFL is as bad as it was this season. That's not going to happen again. There's going to be building. There's going to be teams getting better and adding pieces. The Patriots are not going to be a pushover forever. They now have a good coaching staff. So let's not pretend that everything is going to stay the same and we just add 1 or 2 pieces and we're right back at it next season with a better chance than we had this season. We have to follow the process. It's part of the reason I brought up the whole timeline of where we were in 2020. We cannot get overwhelmed or overjoyed at the overachievement of our team this season. Let them follow the process for once. Go build through the draft. Get the specific pieces you need. put somebody next to Ed Oliver who is as young as he is or younger that can play the one tech consistently and constantly and productively so that he can have the effectiveness he's supposed to have for his $80 million contract. And then maybe that might open things up for a Greg Rousseau to be even more productive than he's been. Maybe you don't need to go and add a blue chipper because Greg Rousseau takes that next step because the rest of his defensive line is playing well enough. And you can just go draft a defensive end at 30 who can come in and play that opposite side of Greg Rousseau and be that speed rusher that you need to get that bend around the edge and really create some quick pressure on the quarterback. These are the things that lead, like, looking at what the Texans did. The best thing they did was what? Rush the passer. Who was their best pass rusher? Their first round pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and this is the thing. Everybody talks about, aggressiveness, and Bean says, I like capital, I like this, that, and third. But if you can identify your Myles Garrett, there's always somebody somewhere, some position that's a Myles Garrett. What are you doing masquerading with 12 draft picks? You're going to go ahead and you're going to move up in the second round again? You're going to get yourself a third? Because remember last year they were butthurt because they didn't get that third rounder? Who cares? Because guess what? Pop, tell me this. If we had anybody that wanted to be aggressive and trade up in the first round, how many times have we done it? How many times have we been real aggressive and trade up in the first round? One time.
One time.
Who do we get?
Elam.
No.
Josh.
Boom.
Oh,
How'd that turn
aggressive. Oh, it turned out great.
Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah.
What's the harm? I'm not saying that it's going to trump a big free agency, but the time you really went in, it worked, did it not?
We were just talking about that with nephew Will Johnson, right? Like that's a blue chip player in the draft that you trade up for. That's a cornerstone of your defense right there.
And that's the thing. You have to identify your cornerstone. And for me, if we had that guy, I want Myles Garrett to be the accentuation for that cornerstone. I want Max Crosby to be the accentuation because when he's all said and done, we still got that young boy.
Right.
Now we got peanut butter, no jelly. We got what? We got the you know who? We got what we got? We got the arrows, but no pollo. We got none of it. Because it's like it's not symbiotic.
Yeah.
You don't have somebody to say, yo, I remember when I played, the dude was like, I'll meet you at the quarterback. Who's saying that on this team?
Right.
Who knows by beyond a shadow of doubt, I'll meet you there. Ain't nobody stopping me. Who was it? Who was it? Oh, Jakeem Smith from Ohio State. He said, as a freshman, can't nobody stop me. He said, I don't know what you think you're doing to cover. Nobody can cover me one-on-one. Bo Scatterboo, you watched the Mel. What did he say? He said, Texas ain't got nothing for me. What did you see? Did they stop him? Nope. Who's our guy like that? And how are we going to handcuff him next? James Cook? No, you don't play in the first half. Don't worry about it. Because you can't block. We don't need blocking in the first. We need yardage. Because like I said with your point, why are we talking about third and fourth down? Why are we getting there all the time? Because you're not being smart. They're giving you what they want you to take, and you're just taking the bait.
Spin says Bill's not getting that blue chip DE at pick 25 to 32.
Why not?
I mean, Tavondre Sweat was there last year around that period.
That's the thing. Like
Jonathan Grenard, where was he drafted? He was a first round pick, but he was
second round. Was he?
I think he was a second round pick. So
because he was after our pick,
and he's the Vikings' best defensive end right now. He's a beast.
Odafe was picked behind Greg Rousseau, and he had 10 sacks last year.
Right. So
and he's a part-time player.
These are just examples, Spin, of guys that are blue chip players that were taken later than 25 and 32. Right. And so I think. It's funny. It's funny how we only think of the positive when it comes to guys like Myles Garrett who have done it and proven that they can do it in the league, but we're so unwilling to think of the positive and what could happen with different possibilities, like, I don't know, firing our head coach and getting an offensive-minded guy like a Ben Johnson, who's now in Chicago and is getting ready to destroy the league with that offense. We don't want to think about the possibilities of giving up some draft picks and trading higher up into the beginning of the first round, like you stated, Key, and drafting a guy like a Josh Allen only at the receiver position, maybe. Like, why is it that the team exudes the same fear that the fans have at making all of these risky moves that we've seen all these other teams in the NFL take and have success with. Like, did we really need to, and I get that this is revisionist history, but did we really need to trade for Stephon Diggs if we had done enough scouting to understand that Jettis was there?
That's the point. I mean, that's the thing, and I forget. I think it was. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. It's always game day in Buffalo. Matt Bovee and Sal Capaccio, they were talking about how drafting Mahomes in 17 would have been a bad move because we didn't have a GM.
What? Okay.
Matt, what you think? I mean, we're not talking about Josh, but what do you think? Would it have been a bad move to draft Mahomes just because we didn't have a GM?
No, I don't think it would have been a bad move, but I don't think you get the Pat Mahomes you got in KC and Buffalo.
Yeah, understood.
You know what I'm saying?
Understood, but I'd rather have. Well, I ain't gonna say it because I'm not going to Tyrod no here no more. But the thing is, if you're talking about all the stuff they gave Josh, because this team, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you can say all you want. You knew, blah blah blah. No, you didn't, because nobody watched Wyoming. Why? Because I know we didn't have Wyoming games in Buffalo. We had the bowl game. And that was about it. But when he got here, the first year, 58% completions, not pretty. More interceptions than touchdowns. Second year, not so great. But then they say, you know what, Jordan Palmer, Brian Daboll, whoever else they put in his council, his backup quarterback, work with him. But see, a lot of people don't do that, Dirk Marone. A lot of coaches are like, I got to win now. Like you said, this is why it upsets me, because what did Pagula say when he hired Sean McDermott? He said what?
This is Sean's show.
Which means, Sean, do what you must, make it work. Mm-hmm. You're not on the clock. You're not on a timer.
Right.
You are not expendable. You're my guy. This is your show.
Yep.
Make it work. And he showed that he could do that with Josh.
Yep.
But that was 7 years ago.
Yep.
7 seasons ago. Where's the next one? I'm not saying he's got to be MVP dating Haley Steinfeld and playing golf with Steph Curry and them, but I'm saying there are guys out there. I'm tired of watching these guys that we know fit into a defense, fit into a scheme. And I'm still like, what the hell is our scheme? What are we doing? Are we a rush for? Are we a cover two? Are we playing man? Are we not? Why are we switching now? We got here, like you said, we got here with zone defense. Why are we doing man now? Why?
Right.
Because you drafted Kaiir Elam. You moved up to get a project in Kaiir Elam that everybody knew was a project. Go read the scouting report, NFL.com, public record. Project. And you see, you traded up for him. And what did you think was going to happen when you don't use him? What did you think was going to happen when you put him on the field? You thought he was going to be great? Those guys make mistakes, but you stick with them, right, like you did Josh. Right. You stick with them until Tremaine Edmonds says, you know what? I'm going to go because I want to be a part of a rebuild that pays me $72 million. That's what you do. But they don't do that. Yep. But you don't have a clock. There's nothing ticking over here. What are we talking about?
Kev says they went to see Jefferson before getting Diggs. Bean don't have a clue about receivers.
I don't think McDermott has a clue about safeties either. I think he happened upon Hyde and Poyer, because after that, Hamlin, Jaquan Johnson.
Yep. DeMar Hamlin.
Mike Edwards.
Which
I know I powdered him all season, but let's be real. The guy was mad at Buffalo. It came up because we promised him that he was going to play and he didn't get a shot.
Correct.
Which I respect. You were told something and they didn't live up to their word. What did Shady say? You told me something, you ain't do it. Right. So what is it? What's the culture? So convince me to come here. My name is Myles Garrett. I'm too big to fit in this seat. How many drug tests you got? Because when I take these sleeves off, it's coming.
Laura says, AFC champions 5 years in a row. I'm not going to predict our imminent demise.
AFC East champion.
Oh, AFC East. Okay.
No, I didn't read it. I'm just saying AFC East.
No.
She didn't say it. Okay.
Yeah. I needed to clarify that too because I just read it out loud. You know what though, and I know we touched on this a little bit, and I want to give credit to Steve Lynn for bringing this up 2 episodes ago when he said, we just have to hope now for the division to get better so that we're forced to perform and draft better. And I think that's more of an indictment on where we've been for the last 7 seasons, 8 seasons under Sean McDermott, more than anything else. If Sean McDermott had taken a job with the Steelers and did all of the same things that he did here I think everybody would be like, leave that dude alone. I'm being real. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I think if he was to do what he did in the NFC North, or if he was to do it in what's another tough division, the NFC East has been very competitive, and it's about to get right back to that now. What else? I can't say the AFC South, and the West belongs to the Chiefs. So I mean, just stick with the NFC North. Like what I'm trying to get at is, our division has been tomato cans, to quote Chris Broussard. That's what we've been benefiting from during the regular season for years. So to jump on to what Lynn is talking about here really quick, she says, I do agree with that the scouting for Buffalo doesn't live up to expectations early in the draft, but they hit some late picks. So one of the reasons I started talking about the division is when you're playing against lesser talent, and you're playing against teams that don't have great quarterbacks, and you're playing against teams that don't have great coaching, you can win with later round draft picks that aren't that great. As long as you have a good scheme, as long as you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, you should win those games, right? And all of these points kind of just fold into one another and create exactly what we've seen now, which is this picture of super success and the most wins by a team to not have appeared in a Super Bowl or win one. Is it win one? Mm-hmm. We have the most wins of any team in NFL history now to have not appeared in or won a Super Bowl. Like, can we just park on that for a second?
It's a 1-1, yep.
Huh?
It's 1-1, yep.
Right. So I just, all I'm asking for is accountability across the board. Can we just as a fan base, can we get to a point where we're asking for accountability? Like I said in the last episode, if Sean McDermott has to stay here, then can we at least root for him to change his ways? Because the way that he's been conducting business, while on the outside it looks like AFC Championship appearance, let's go for it. The reality and what lies beneath the surface of that is they all sitting in the room like, whew, man, I didn't expect us to get this far, but man, we did it. We did it. Mm-hmm. Like, they patting themselves on the back right now. They happy with this level of success. And it's almost as if this was the goal. Like, if I run a race and I come in second place, should I be like, woo, like, yeah, all right, look, let's run it, let's run the race again next year. If
you have a son who's playing football and he's running a race, do you not congratulate him for coming in second?
I'm gonna tell him he did a good job, but we have to get better.
Okay, but what if, again, he goes to the next race, he does better, but he still don't beat the first guy?
We need to figure out why he's not winning. I mean, again, you're talking about children. We talking about grown men.
It's the same point.
No, bro. No, it's not. These men get paid millions of dollars. These coaches get paid millions of dollars.
Okay, you're right.
I know. Like,
I was being sarcastic.
Well, you can be whatever you want. I think that at the end of the day, we're talking about grown men and guys getting paid millions of dollars that make decisions that affect our city.
But the difference is, like, the thing that I keep harping on is that when we have opinions, it's okay. That's your opinion. That's not, you don't speak for everybody. So when you say that, you can't say people who don't think the life thing that's the problem. You guys are the problem. Like, you can't do that. You can't say that.
All right. So let me ask you a question. So let's say your daughter, when she gets older, she's dating a guy that you don't like.
Okay.
Right? And you see a bunch of tendencies in this dude where he might do her wrong. And you have a conversation with her like, yo, I see this and this and this. He's doing this. Like, he ain't the one, baby. Like, I know you like him. I know he feels like, you know, he's the one to you. But, baby, listen, I need you to trust my wisdom. I need you to, like, just hear me out. He's not the one. And she gets mad at you like, no, you just have a different perspective on him. He's good. He's a good dude to me. He does this, he does that, and whatever. Like, what's your perspective going to be? To some degree, she may be fooled, right?
Because at the end of the day, it's not my choice. It's her choice. I can give her all the wisdom and advice that she wants, but it's up to her to take it.
Okay, I get that. But what I'm talking about is your perspective on where her mindset is. Yes, she may be free to choose who she wants, but in your mind at that point, you would think, okay, she's not able to see what I see, correct?
No.
What?
No, that's not my perspective.
How do you I don't get that. How do you so
Okay,
if you're telling her about something that you see in her dude and she doesn't see it, you just gonna chalk that up as okay, she's free to make her own decisions. And you're not even gonna think about the fact that she can't see what you see.
At the end of the day, I don't try to change people.
This ain't me trying to change nobody.
Aramis, can I say something without like you go on for soliloquies for 15 minutes, nobody say nothing. I start talking for 5 minutes, boom, 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 boom. Like you won't let me get my point out.
Okay, because I hear where you're going.
So you can talk for 15 minutes, but I can't talk for 5.
Go ahead, bro.
No, it's good. It's your show. You got it.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the point. So, I look. To be clear, nothing about what we talking about is supposed to force people to change their minds. What I'm trying to get people to do is think critically. That's all. If you don't want to do that, then just say you don't really care about winning the championship, and we'll be fine.
But that's not what people think.
Okay, look.
Just because they don't think what you think, it don't mean that they're wrong.
There's no way, logically, and look, the whole reason that I've been saying this stuff publicly is because I'm still waiting to hear a perspective that convinces me that you can think about everything that the Bills have accomplished so far and think that it's good and great and it's fine. I'm still waiting to hear a perspective. This has nothing to do with me being locked into a position.
It does.
That's your perspective.
But you just said no matter what people say, it's not going to change your mind. That's cool.
No.
Fine.
That's not what I just said. See, that's part of the problem.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I said is I'm still waiting to hear a perspective that changes my mind.
Okay.
That means I'm open to it. That's the derivative from that. That's the conclusion of what I'm saying is I'm open to hearing a perspective that convinces me that this idea that what the Bills are doing is good and great and I should be not thinking about all the losses that we've had in the playoffs, and I shouldn't be thinking about all the failures in the draft, and I shouldn't be thinking about all the other stuff that I've been calling out. Like when did we enter into a world where we can't call a team out for doing things wrong? I'm
not saying you can't, but don't poo-poo on people who have the opposite mindset.
Bruh.
You know what I want to poo-poo on, though? I want to poo-poo on the fact that Eli Manning is not in the Hall of Fame. Can we poop on that?
You think he got snubbed?
No. I think he did get snubbed. The man got 2 Super Bowls against the greatest quarterback of all time right now.
No, what was his record? What was it, 110 and 110?
Yeah.
110 and 110. I'm going to get it. Matter of fact, give me a hoodie. Tell who is it that makes these hoodies?
Say what now?
Who makes the hoodies?
We gonna make it printify.
Tell them I want a hoodie with an Eli Manning fat head on the front, 110 and 110 on the back. But I want one of the 110s to be a big football
I'll tell you
stuck
what.
to the helmet.
I tell you what. If I can get 10 people in this chat to tell me they want a hoodie like that, I'll make it.
Hold on, chat.
Right,
chat,
there you go.
Please.
There you go.
Chat. You can do this. Pop, you want one? I got you. I'm gonna get you one. All right. You got just 2. Okay, we need 8 more. Do I hear 8 over here? 8 over there. Anybody?
How do I? Okay, forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Johannig.
Joe on egg.
What?
Joe on egg.
But there's an H in there.
Joe. J-O-H. Joe. Like J-A-H is Ja?
Joe. Okay. All right.
It's probably all bad. I know.
We're just gonna call you 420. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, just gonna call 420. So anyway, he says, welcome to the show. By the way, he says I'm a huge Bills fan, and I believe Lamar got snubbed, but so did Josh in 2020 and 2023, or Dak got snubbed, or Dak who got snubbed last year. But Dak was hurt last year, wasn't he?
When wasn't he hurt?
Oh, I'm sorry. Dak was hurt this year.
Yeah,
so last year, I mean, I don't know. Look, to me, Dak's time is past. Like, that's over with. With the teams that he had, if you didn't win with those teams in that run game and that in those defenses, like you just not gonna get it done, man. He's had receiver on top of receiver. He had Dez Bryant for a short. He had Amari Cooper for a short. He had now he has CeeDee Lamb, and I don't know. I don't see it happening. Obviously, I could be wrong. No Bone says Lamar got 23 votes. That's not snubbed. I agree with that too. It's basically even. Basically even.
So who was your most surprising Hall of Fame inductee? I can pull up a list and see who they were.
Most who?
Surprising. Who do you think wasn't going to get in?
Sterling Sharp.
That did surprise me just a tad.
Yeah. I'm glad they did it because he deserves it, but it still feels kind of weird. You know what I mean? Because by criteria, it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Now it could have been because this is and no disrespect to the men making it in, but this wasn't as easy of a class to point at and say, yeah, those guys definitely, deserve to be in there, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, this is to me the time where it started. We talked about maybe last year where we talked about how if you're going to put somebody in, somebody got to come out. That's going to up the ante just a little bit because, I mean, you just throwing people in there now. We got to get this many people, whatever the case may be, but are they really Hall of Fame? Are they really the greatest of all time? Let's start taking people out. I don't know who's in there, but let's go over to Canton and see. Nah, you're done. I don't like your haircut. You're done. Your bust is ugly. You're done too. What bust? It's a head statue, man. What's wrong with you? Anyway.
Yeah.
We got adolescents in here. I'm sorry.
Kick rocks, as you would say. Kev says this starting to be the hall of participants.
Exactly,
yeah.
and that's what I'm saying. Let's make it interesting. I mean, you're talking about Eric Allen, who's okay, 88 to 2001. Jared Allen, 2004 to 2015. Antonio Gates, 2003 to 2018. Sterling Sharp, 88 to 94. Is that it? Yeah, I think that's it. Yep.
Yeah. I appreciated Antonio Gates getting in there. I actually didn't think he would make it in. He was definitely one of the most successful tight ends in history. But I mean, the fact that he never played in a Super Bowl and did they make an AFC Championship game with Phillip Rivers, the Chargers?
I don't think so.
I don't think they did either. Maybe they did, but I don't know. It just usually Hall of Fame players have at least one appearance or a Super Bowl or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that's part of what made this class feel weird. You know what I mean? Like the guys you heard, it's like, okay, I know these guys, and yeah, they were great players, but like Hall of Fame level, like really? You know what I mean?
What did I say? Gates was 2008. Did I say?
Yes.
Okay, so the last time he went to a conference championship was 2007. Oh no, he was 2003. So he actually did play one championship game.
Okay.
That was in 2007
Yeah.
against. Let's see, they were 11-5. They lost to New England. Of course.
Yeah. Figures.
I probably shouldn't have to look at that.
Right. Yeah. So that was the only one they had, the only conference championship appearance. Okay. Yeah, man. I look. If Eli Manning was gonna make the Hall of Fame, this would have been the class to do it in. In my honest opinion, because I still think there's so many other guys with the stats that really would dictate like they get in ahead of Eli Manning. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's tough for him not making it, but we'll see if that comes to pass. Kev said a few minutes earlier. He said the timeline will speed up for the team. I'm assuming he's talking about because the MVP monster that was created, MVP JA17, will help speed up the clock. Yeah, it sounds like that's already what's happened now. Josh won an MVP, all this trade talk and everything like that. It sounds like the clock has been sped up. Lynn says, by your reasoning then, if Josh Allen never wins the Super Bowl, he doesn't make the Hall of Fame. I mean, look, John Elway's in the Hall of Fame. He was an iconic player, but he won 2 Super Bowls, and it took him forever to do it. And I think if Josh,
Dan Marino was in there.
Yeah, and Dan Marino's in there and never won one. So I mean, it's not to say that I'm only looking at that perspective. I'm talking about specifically for this player. Antonio Gates played for a great team. He had a lot of great stats, but he didn't have a lot of, big time memorable moments. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that outside of fantasy circles and being a Charger fan, people would know exactly who Antonio Gates was. Eric Allen was a great running back. You know what I mean? But again, one of those names where if you didn't watch a lot of football, or if you weren't a Chiefs fan at the time, you really didn't know who that was. So, I'm not saying, my logic is the end all be all. It's what I think. So, but I am basing a good chunk of my logic off of what history has told us in terms of who makes the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So,
I think when Eli and Tyrod go up and try to get in that Hall of Fame, Eli might have a shot then.
Who?
Eli and Tyrod. He might have a shot then. I don't know. It's kind of flimsy.
If Tyrod makes the Hall of Fame, bro,
I'm gonna kick the whole building down.
you have to. You will have to. Or you'll have to do something really embarrassing. One of the two.
Free.
Huh?
Admission is free.
James Payne, welcome to the show. He says Eli is nowhere close to a first ballot Hall of Fame induction. Those teams excelled on the back of their defense. Yes, defense still wins Super Bowls. I agree with that. Yes. It's what the Chiefs did the last 2 Super Bowls. Yeah. They did it with defense. Huh?
I said I like my defense.
Well, yeah, because he's a defensive guy, of course. Okay, so real quick, we got like 7 minutes. I want to switch over to this coach that we just hired. Well, that we're talking about hiring on now as the
assistant defensive
senior.
line coach.
Yeah, well, he's also the senior defensive assistant, which is a position that Al Holcomb used to hold. So just for context, everybody, this guy we just hired is the guy we hung 40 on in week 2 of this season.
But how does D-line do?
I don't know. How many sacks did they get in that game? This is the guy we hung 40 on.
Why does this guy get a press release? Just silently put him on the roster.
Yes, exactly. That's
just
what I would do.
Here.
I would not be proud of that move at all. Now, I did hear talks about, he's very good at disguising defenses, and he's a man.
He must have disguised defensive lineman because that's all he's gonna get. I'm putting a press release on my flag guy before I do this dude. I need my corner end zone flag dude to get something. He needs a bobblehead.
You need to think more positively.
You're right. Dude needs a bobblehead. You need a bobblehead.
Oh my God. No. Lynn says Peterman to Hall of Fame. Yeah, basically.
He has to make it. He's famous for 5 interceptions.
That's real.
Numerous times.
He broke a record.
He has to make it.
Oh, okay. We got to push for that now. We have to push for that now. That's
Peterman
right.
2040. He's got to make it.
He's got to do it.
He's been in the league how long now? 8 years? Because he came in, McDermott drafted him before Josh. Josh came at 18. He was a year before him. He was 17.
Right. Yeah, 17. So
he's made it to he's going to be the next Fitz, only he's not anywhere near as talented and can't grow a beard. His chest can't grow one either, I'm sure.
Gold jacket is waiting for him.
That's going to cover up the 9 chest hairs.
Are there any other players in the Hall of Fame with those kind of records?
Let me see if there's a worse player in a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, like what's a player that's in the Hall of Fame that got a terrible record or something like that they broke?
I am besmirching the hell out of the Hall of Fame right
now. No Bone says Tarkenton, Fouts, Marino, Moon, and Kelly are the only quarterbacks in the Super Bowl era in the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl ring. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame? Let's check that number. Let's check that number real quick. How many?
And I mean, I'm not even like the bona fide Josh Allen like rah dude, but it's obvious he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, it is. It don't matter what he does. If he stopped right now, he's a Hall of Famer.
I agree with that. 23 is the answer. 23 modern era quarterbacks have made it to Canton.
And
So 5 out of those 23 don't have Super Bowl rings.
And unfortunately, there's been no player has ever been inducted in the Hall of Fame for being bad. The Hall of Fame typically recognizes players who have made a significant contribution. Significant contribution.
He contributed to a defense.
He did. He's the best defensive player on a lot of teams.
I mean, look.
You know what? I think
obvious
you know what I think?
perspective.
I want to see how many players, when they say, okay, Nathan Peterson's coming to the AFC South. Wow. Nobody in that whole division can get an interception incentive in their contract. Because they're going to stat pad the heck out of that.
Yeah.
5 interceptions for Patrick Surtain. Whoever. It doesn't matter. Just here. Have them all. This is ridiculous.
Right. Kev says Jerry Jonas?
Is he one of the Jonas Brothers?
Maybe Jerry Jones.
Was he terrible? Let's see how bad he was for the win.
How bad Jerry Jonas was?
Yes, I hope he was bad. Or is he saying?
I think he's talking about Jerry Jones.
Dang,
yeah.
I really. Cause if it was Jerry Jonas, dude, we never heard of that dude before. He in the Hall of Fame?
I don't think he's one.
Yep.
We in there? Okay. So, all right. Back in there like swimwear. Got 2 minutes left.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Listen, to combat that question, what happens if you get to the Hall of Fame and you want to come back? Do you have to like take your jacket off, hand it in?
Well, you have to huh? Yeah.
But Tom Brady though, that's gotta be the Tom Brady rule. He be like, I'm 53, I'm chilling.
No, I tell you who that was for. That's for Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
That's for Barry.
He said, I will come back if it's not Detroit.
Right.
Anywhere but Detroit. I will come back.
Yep. I'll get on another team and do it, but you ain't finna run me through the ringer like that, like they did. No Bone says Jerry Jones bought a bust.
Yeah. It's not a pause. A bust of the head statue.
Yo, this pause game is single-handedly ruining the show right
My head's
now.
like, it's not. I know. I get it.
Of course. That's fun for me too. I get it.
I don't want to text no more. I'm scared when it's gonna come. I'm like, I'm working. How's this a pause? I'm trying to share something with you real fast.
Oh my gosh. All right. So we got a minute left here, and I mean, to be honest, this water has been great, but you know what I can really use, bro.
You gonna be thirsty because you had Mike Rich talking about me Denver president, but he ain't did nothing. I can tell you what though.
I'll let
Pop's
him get
been
away
over
with
for
that.
a while. You've been over for a while.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to drink? You ain't got nothing to drink?
I mean, then why are you even here right now?
I can tell you right now, ain't nothing to drink. You ain't drinking nothing if you ain't got that Reed's tea. You ain't drinking nothing if you ain't got that Reed's tea.
Definitely not.
1 part refreshing, 1 part delicious, 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect when there's only 4 ingredients. It's 4, right? Okay, 4. He had to think. He fact checked it. Now we can say
No doubt.
you can't refute it. 4 ingredients.
We had the bottle on here, man. We looked.
Well, I mean, you didn't have it sectioned off by ingredient.
we
It
didn't
wasn't
have-
like layered up where you like shaking it all goes in there. This is my monologue.
Fine,
Can I have
fine,
this?
fine.
Where was I? Anyway, I don't drink tea. But I can tell you that's a good tea right there. What are you doing? Head over to Reed's. Get yourself a supply of the case or individual. Why would you get the individual? Get yourself a case. You won't be disappointed. What do I know? See for yourself. Reed's Tea. Click the link in the description. Or just go ahead and holler at Pop over there. Let him know who sent you. He's here, so he heard us.
Right. All right. I think I got the volume right here. Let's go ahead and pull this up and get this going. OLI has not been here all episode long, so that means I got a couple of tries at this. Here we go. All right, if you're hearing that music, that means it's time for us to get out of here. Listen, I want to thank Sweat and Laura again. Forgive me in my memory. I want to thank you both for becoming part of the immediate family, right? Everybody who gets into this chat is part of the Triple P family. But if you want to get the perks, if you want to get the access, if you even want to just hang out live with us on the show, you got to become part of the immediate family. That's where it's at. That's where the real contact, the real connection is at right there, okay? Listen, if you have not done so already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, make that thing
Ring a ling-a-ling.
so that you can get notifications when we send notifications like, look, this membership thing has been taken off. The merchandise thing has been taken off. It's been great. We really appreciate y'all's support. We couldn't do this without y'all, and we hope to be able to use the support to be able to bring you a better product and get a better cord, obviously, for the show that keeps cutting out on us.
Well, they keep saying Junie and
I
Junior
know
Mac.
he's getting more airtime than we are.
He is.
But listen, we got some great stuff coming up. We got some new content that we're going to be coming out with. We got some connections that we're making out there in the podcast space. So this thing is getting bigger and better every single chance that we get. So we just want y'all to be aware of that, and we want you to keep a lookout for that because, listen, I've been telling y'all stuff is coming, and it does. So y'all know when I say something, it's real, all right? With that being said, look, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
Melly Mac.
He lies. It's sodium.
No.
40
it's
keys.
pepper. It's pepper.
We out. Deuces.